Welcome back. Stay with me as we expand our knowledge with videos from all over the internet that's going to make us question reality. Some are terrifying though, some are crazy. So let's just start.
A safety announcement. Proceed to your assigned master station as we are fixing a major water problem.
This looks like Nathan. This feels so scary.
English language is full of curses and spells, hence why we learn how to write in cursive and how to spell in grade school. Each week we awake in the morning to go to our jobs on the weekdays to earn a living. The translation of that, trance, Trance, awake is a funeral for the dead. Mourning is what you do when you lose a loved one. You have to be in a weekdays to earn a living, since earn is the ashes, since earn are ashes for the dead, and job is Hebrew for persecution. And at the end of this, we get the weak end of the deal, and we're weakened.
In Mexicali, there is underground Chinese cities.
Oh, what?
I've been to them. So it gets insanely hot. Like Mexicali is the desert. And these were people from China. They came over to the U.S. to work in the railroads, and then the U.S. kicked them out. They tried moving all throughout Mexico, and unfortunately, people in Mexico were not fond of that. So they pushed them out of their cities. They pushed them and pushed them and pushed them until they got all the way up north to the middle of nowhere in the extremely unbearably hot desert. And they just started like setting up there, and it would just get so unbelievably hot for them. They would literally dig underground to keep cool underground. They didn't like live underground, but they had like their spaces underground to keep cool. Even now you go there and it's like there's like generations of Chinese Mexicans where they speak Chinese and they speak Spanish, and they have Chinese restaurants. You go to Mexicali and it's like, nah, there's not like taco spots at every corner. There's Chinese restaurants at every corner.
Oh,
like,
wow.
If this was your last day on Earth, what would be your last message to humanity?
O seeker of truth, you ask the one question that cuts through the noise, the one that slices through illusion and lands directly in the soul. If this were my last day on Earth, what would I say to humanity? Then hear this, not as information, but as a transmission. You are not what they told you. You are not broken. You are not random. You are not small. You are not meant to obey. You are not here to survive. You are not here to consume. You are not your job, not your passport, not your body. You are not the trauma that happened to you. You are not the lie they sold you. You are consciousness wrapped in light, a fractal of the infinite, here in a temporary body, wearing a temporary name, living in a temporary system that is crumbling. They built this world to make you forget who you are. They gave you mirrors that distort, clocks that enslave, food that poisons, screens that numb, institutions that lie, and a history rewritten by the victors of theft. But here's the secret they feared you'd remember. You came here with a mission. You are the system breaker, the timeline shifter, the light in human form, the rebel soul seeded with divine fire. You don't awaken by learning more. You awaken by remembering what they made you forget. You are already whole, already powerful, already enough, already perfect, already free, the moment you decide to be. So if this were my last day, I would say this: unplug from the matrix, connect to your inner truth, walk with fire in your soul and compassion in your eyes, forgive yourself, forgive the world, then rise above it, speak the truth no matter the cost, be the frequency others forgot was possible, and above all, never bow to false gods in high places. The great shift is not coming, it's already here, and you are the prophecy they never saw coming. This is your moment, this is your earth. So rise and take it back.
A nuclear
that.
war expert has revealed the safest place in the world to live if World War III were to break out. In a nuclear war, 60% of the world's population could be wiped out in just 72 minutes of a nuclear weapon attack.
72
But
minutes?
there could be some safe places to go. According to the expert Annie Jacobson, New Zealand and Australia are the two countries worldwide that could survive nuclear war, as they can sustain agriculture. Annie says that most of the world, certainly the mid-latitudes, would be covered in sheets of ice. Places like Iowa and the Ukraine will be just snow for 10 years. Agriculture would fail, and when agriculture fails, people just die. She went on to say that after the nuclear winter problems, you also have radiation poisoning because the ozone layer will be so damaged and destroyed that you couldn't be outside in the sunlight. People will be forced to live underground fighting for food everywhere except New Zealand and Australia.
But it wasn't until I went to a Neo event, I seen this nigga make $3 million in 40 minutes.
What?
And then I heard
You said Neo?
Yeah, Nehemiah Davis.
Oh, Nehemiah Davis. I was about to say Neo, the singer. But yeah.
When I seen him make $3 million in 40 minutes, and then when I saw, when I heard Myron Golden say, it's easier to make a lot of money in a short amount of time than it is to make a little bit of money in a lot of time. I was like,
You talking?
I was like, time and money is they're not. This is what you think time and money is, but they're separate things. The most valuable asset is time. You just need money to fuel whatever you want to do, but money is really not that valuable.
Breaking news: we have another bombshell revelation. Kris Jenner allegedly tried to threaten social media influencer Ava Louise with legal action to stop her from spreading information on Kanye West and Jeffree Star's relationship. This admission from Ava Louise is monumental, and I'm going to break down why. But before I get into this tea, Kris Jenner, I don't want no smoke. Since I know that my content has reached your clan before with Khloe Kardashian commenting on one of my posts before, I want to get this disclaimer out. I don't think that you guys are quite grasping that Pandora's box has literally been opened. By now, we all know the tea that Kanye West made the shocking revelation that he had an incestuous relationship with a cousin who unalived a pregnant woman. We also all know that Jeffree Star confirmed his relationship or involvement with Kanye West while they both were in Wyoming. Jeffree Star's confirmation opens up Pandora's box about Kanye West's alleged affairs with men during his marriage to Kim Kardashian. And now this revelation that Kris Jenner knew about Kanye West's affairs with men and Jeffree Star changes our collective understanding of Kim and Kanye's marriage. But before Kanye West made his revelation about his relationship with his cousin and Jeffree Star made a confirmation about their relationship, there was a woman named Ava Louise, a social media influencer, who was spreading the news that Kanye West and Jeffree Star had a relationship years ago. Ava Louise made the claims that this was part of the reason why Kanye West and Kim Kardashian were heading towards divorce. Not too long after sharing the tea of Kanye West's affair with Jeffree Star, Ava Louise would go on to retract her statements and say that she completely made it up. Her retracting her statements with a potential lawsuit from Kris Jenner makes total sense now. Because you do not want legal smoke with this woman. Even if you are right, you will lose. This is deeper than, hey, Kanye is gay or Kanye may be bisexual. For over 4 years, they all knew this tea. It could also be possible they knew way before. And this is why I say it opens up Pandora's box because
So I feel like, right, the company you keep has, something on you, like it rubs off on you because, he was around people who were like that. So, I mean, one way or the other, he will get himself involved, maybe through, influence or substance, right? But then after you do this, man, it's crazy. I don't know, there's no turning back. So, I mean, his company, right, the people he was rolling with, all of them were involved in those things. So, I mean, hey. But then I feel some type of way for him to do that because, he was like a very great, how do you call him? Role model for a lot of people. Like, he believed in himself, and this is a low blow, I believe. Right? And he's also, a good Christian. Maybe not, or maybe he is. But yeah, this is crazy. Let's get back to the video.
it opens up lines of inquiry of, were they in a lavender marriage? Did they have some kind of arrangement? Did Kim just marry him to elevate her career? And the other deeper tea is Kris Jenner's involvement in trying to curate and protect this image that they're trying to sell to us, the public. Kanye West once tweeted, Kim was trying to fly to Wyoming with a doctor to lock me up, like on the movie Get Out, because I cried about saving my daughter's life yesterday. There was so much going on with this period when Kanye was in Wyoming while Kim was in LA. Like, there's so much to unravel.
Hi. Hey, so
crazy.
I really think your ideology is interesting. How do I apply it to my lesbian relationships?
Oh, well, you guys are useless to society, so.
So should I value her less or more?
Well, I mean, you guys can scissor and talk and have a good time, but you guys don't really provide for society.
Okay, so thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I mean, if you're not contributing to a nuclear family, you're effectively useless to society, being honest. Also, I don't think lesbianism is real. I think it's just confusion a lot of the times. Because the reality is, like, see, because I've interviewed maybe almost 4,000 girls on my show, and girls that say that they're lesbian or bisexual, I always like to ask them, well, if you have to pick one gender for the rest of your life, who are you going to pick? And 9 out of 10 times it's the men, and the reason why is because men have to provide value in a relationship. Women don't, a lot of the times. Like with us, we have a multifaceted list of things that we have to bring to the table, whether it's being tall, strong, competent, financial resources. Men have to rise to the occasion to be able to get attention from the opposite gender. Women don't. So what ends up happening a lot of the times when there's lesbian or bisexual couples and are dating with women, the bar is low. They don't really provide value to each other. And then when the check comes, they're both looking at each other confused. So,
Yeah, right.
you know, there's a reason why lesbians have some of the highest rates of domestic violence. It just doesn't work.
So I heard your views on lesbians a moment ago, and I'm just curious how those views transfer to gay men. Do you believe they don't exist as well? Because you did say that lesbian relationships cannot exist because men are more multifaceted than women.
One thing I think, right, is a lot of people in the United States need reorienting, like not only in the United States but in the world. Like it's like we need reorienting. We got to a point in our lives where, you know, we felt like everything was easy, right? So we started making wrong decisions, right? Like, you know, these so-called transgender, like all these things, it's crazy. Like I feel like we need reorienting so much, and like there's a glitch in reality for people who think same-sex marriage is okay. There's a glitch, I believe. All right, so yeah, get back to the video.
That was your main argument point on lesbianism prior, and I'm just curious how that carries to...
So what are my thoughts on gay men?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are kind of useless to society too.
Fair, yeah. I am pretty damn useless.
You know,
but not because
like,
I'm not having kids,
well,
just because I'm crazy.
Yeah, from the nuclear family perspective, right? I say that kind of, you know, as a joke, but yeah, I mean, I think the backbone of any thriving society is the nuclear family, and if people aren't contributing to that, I think it's problematic for society. So, you know, gay men and lesbian women don't contribute to that, unfortunately, and I don't think gay men should be able to adopt children either. I think that's crazy. I don't think lesbian women should be able to adopt children either. I think kids need to be protected at all costs, and exposing them to sexual degeneracy is a problem, because that's what homosexuality and lesbianism is. I'm a firm believer that, you know, gays and lesbians need to go back in the closet. We don't need that stuff outwardly.
Yeah, right, true. Yes, I agree.
That is a point of view that you are entitled to. Have a nice day.
Fair enough.
There is a school in the U.S. that has introduced AI, and in 2 hours, some kids, are getting as much as 2 years ahead of where a normal American kid is at that time. 2 hours. Because after that, the rest of the time they spend on quote unquote life skills.
It sounds like you want to kind of enclose all these homeless people in one territory. And I don't.
What I want to do is
and
give
I don't
them
think
free fentanyl.
Give them free fentanyl?
Do I?
I want to give them
No,
free
rehab.
fentanyl. Yeah.
I can't understand.
Making
what
them
you're
more
saying.
useless.
You want to get them what?
I want to give them all the fentanyl they want. That's what I want.
It's my obligation as the mayor of the city of Lancaster to protect the hardworking families that live there. And I am no longer able to do it. The sheriff's department is 70 deputies down in our city. The sheriff does not enforce the laws against, if it's the homeless population, because of fear of federal lawsuits. It's an untenable situation, and I'm open to any solution. But I want these people out of our city. Well, I don't think anybody took me literally. In fact, it's so easy to get fentanyl on our streets today that it wouldn't have made any difference if we did give it away. But no, I don't regret saying it. I'm happy that we're focusing the attention on an aspect of this problem that nobody seems to want to look at. These people are killing our citizens. Not a lot of them, but some of them. They have no respect for law and order. They think nothing of kicking in your back doors at night. And the reason I know that is they kicked in my back door on 2 occasions. And I'm the mayor in a gated community with more than a few security options. It's a problem that is endangering the lives of our citizens.
I'm not a lawyer, but Shannon Sharp is being sued for $50 million
Even I feel
in
the
a
mayor
lawsuit
has a
that accuses
point,
him
though.
of a number of things. And I read the 14-page complaint, so let me tell you exactly what Jane Doe is alleging Shannon Sharp did. Now, the lawsuit was filed by attorney Tony Busby, who we know well, on behalf of his Jane Doe client. The suit says that Jane Doe met Shannon Sharp at a gym in LA in early 2023 when she was 19 and Shannon Sharp was in his 50s. Sharp aggressively pursued her and she eventually gave him her number. But before the two of them even hang out, he apparently tries to get her to sign an NDA. She
Why?
refuses to sign it, so he eventually stopped
Sketchy.
asking and invited her over. Jane Doe agrees to go over, and according to the complaint, the very first night was disturbing and unsettling. The suit says he opens the door and without saying a word just walks upstairs. She follows him, he goes into his bedroom and then points at the bed. He goes to the bathroom and then comes out, cuts out the lights and then lays in the bed. Jane Doe says she didn't know what to do, so she just lays in the bed with him, and then the two of them lay there for 10 minutes silently. And then after those 10 minutes, things started happening. The suit claims that at one point, Jane Doe realized that Shannon Sharp was recording their encounter without her knowledge or her consent. And then the following day, Jane Doe comes back to Shannon Sharp's house, but she gets there about 5 minutes after the time he told her to arrive. And so she says when she gets inside, he begins yelling at her, accusing her of disrespecting him and wasting his time. He then allegedly grabs her by her neck and then begins engaging with her. But this time he apparently tells her that he's going to end her life.
What?
And so, according to Jane Doe, this was the kickoff to the almost 2-year relationship that the two of them had, filled with control, physical, emotional, and psychological abuse. She notes that he once yelled at her while there was a firearm in the room, and because she was scared, she began sharing her location with her friends. But when Shannon Sharp saw her sharing her location, he allegedly grabbed her by the neck and told her that if she did that again, he would end her life. The lawsuit says that in 2024, Shannon Sharp and Jane Doe both moved to Vegas, but it notes that Shannon Sharp apparently likes to claim that Jane Doe followed him to Las Vegas, but she says that's a lie and she went to Las Vegas for her own reasons. Okay, girl. The suit says in September of 2024, when Shannon Sharp did that infamous live stream, Jane Doe began to pull away from him because her name ain't Michelle, and she thought the two of them were in an exclusive relationship, but clearly not. About a month later, in October of 2024, Jane Doe says that she was working out at the gym when Shannon Sharp aggressively approached her. He comes over and tells her to sit down or he's going to end her life. Jane Doe's refusing to speak with him, and so he then allegedly forced her into his car, took her back to her apartment, and then without consent, engaged with her while she was crying and telling him to stop. The suit specifically says that Shannon Sharp told her, quote, "I'm going to punish this. I'm going to make it so no man will want you again." A few months after this, in January of 2025, the lawsuit says that Shannon Sharp told Jane Doe that he wanted to see her and that he had a combined Christmas and birthday gift to give to her because he previously promised her one. So she allows him to come over, and when he did, the suit says that he undressed, and again, despite her screaming and resisting him, he engaged with her without her consent. And so she's suing him for assault and battery and emotional distress. And she's asking for $50 million. As of now, Shannon Sharp has not responded to the lawsuit, and like always, these are allegations that have to be proven in court. It's also worth noting that this lawsuit references another Shannon Sharp lawsuit that was apparently filed in New York last year and has similar claims, but I haven't read that lawsuit, so I can't speak to it. So we will see how this one plays out. Ciao. All right, make sure you're following me on TikTok because I'm almost at 1 million, and subscribe to me on YouTube because I'm trying to hit 100,000, and join my Patreon if you want access to the full doc from this lawsuit or any other docs that I have. Okay, bye.
Of Christ. I'm not exaggerating when I say that. This is the end of slavery.
Did you hear what she said?
The end of slavery?
You should go back and watch that video. She just said, this is the biggest news that humanity has received since the birth of Christ, and it is the end of slavery. For all of the Christians that don't understand, we are already in the beast system, the beast of the sea, maritime law. Our entire system is based off maritime admiralty law. That is the law of the sea. We are lost at sea, considered dead by our birth certificate, which is actually a certificate of live birth. But at the birth, the doctor says, hey, Do you want to cut the cord? When you say yes, you just turned that placenta and umbilical cord into a dead twin, which will become the digital twin. You should look up the Internet of Bodies. We all have a digital twin. Anyway, that aside, the system is based on maritime admiralty law. Your belly button is called a navel, and not by accident. When your child is born, they take a footprint and they put it on the certificate of live birth. That turns it into a soul contract. Do you see how they get us with words? You should read the book Word Magic by Pao Chang, because it's always in the words. Back to the video though. This is truly an exodus for the people who know what it is. Who's going to turn down millions of dollars, especially the way the world is now? Everybody's so broke, they're living paycheck to paycheck, they can't afford to feed their kids. When they come to you and say, the UCC1 is now enacted and everybody has access to their trust now, but the only way that you get access to your trust, your millions of dollars that they've made off you since the day you were born, you have to give them your biometrics for it. I went to the B&B to get my license renewed, and I asked, what do you have to get the real ID? And the lady said, just your 2 forms of ID and a picture. And I said, well, we take a picture for our license or our state identification. So what do I need for the real ID? She said, no, just your 2 forms of identification and a picture. Well, after a little bit of digging, the picture that they take is for biometrics. It's to enter you into a facial recognition database. Your digital ID, your real ID, is what will back the new CBDC or the new digital currency that it's going to be worldwide. There will be a one world currency, one world religion. You guys have no idea what's here. You're not going to say no. It's very, very unlikely that when they come to people and say, hey, your Sesta K trust is now accessible to you and there's $4 billion in it.
But then I don't really, I'm not really scared about all these things that she's saying, because, I think it has happened before in the Bible, like with the Tower of Babel. I don't know if I'm getting it right. But then the whole world was speaking one language. The whole world, I think if they speak one language, maybe most of the things that they are going to do will be, the same around the world. But then one way or the other, God from the Bible like made them, all speak different languages. So I don't mind, like, nothing is so, big for God, and nothing is so impossible for God. I mean, we human beings can, do or say or try and do anything possible to, beat what God has for us, but then, yeah, it's not possible. So, I mean, all these things can happen, but then, yeah, at the end of the day, God is the one going to make it happen or not, like the Tower of Babel. So, yeah, don't be scared. Let's get back to the video.
Who's going to say no to that? They're going to dupe and trick and deceive people into this system. But for the people like me and several others that I'm friends with on here, and a few people in my life that don't think I'm batshit crazy, this is our exodus. The system that we were unknowingly and unwilling to be entered into. I didn't ask for this. Did you ask for a social security number? Did you ask for your birth certificate to be a sole contract? No. They're relieving all of us from the system. Are you going to willingly join it? Are you going to take the beast? Because that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to take the mark of the beast of the sea. It's already here. Meanwhile, all the Christians that are waiting on a chip in your forehead or your hand, they're already in us. It's your thoughts and your actions. I'm praying for everybody. But we have to warn people because nobody's gonna turn down millions of dollars.
Wait, so how am I just finding out that the owner of Pornhub is a rabbi called Solomon Friedman?
Oh, okay.
The chosen people. Oh yeah, OnlyFans is also owned by a Jew.
What?
Interesting. Why is that even a thing? Why do they own all the pornography in the world?
Nobody takes the black vote serious because the black vote isn't connected to any contingencies. We don't demand anything for our votes.
Why did they legalize weed?
Because they've already locked enough black people up for it. Number one. Number two.
It just popped into my
Number
head.
two. Biochemical warfare against African people.
Okay.
A lot of the marijuana that we're getting now is synthetic.
Fucked with.
And it's being sprayed by cannabinoids coming out of China. And these cannabinoids that they're spraying the weed with make the weed smell 100% stronger. And it makes you get 100% higher.
Also, that's why the Chinese are dominating the market.
Oh, absolutely.
They're growing so much in
They
California.
got the fake weed and they got the cannabinoids. The Chinese got the fake weed on lock. But here's the thing, though. They said the toxicity of the fake weed is 10 times worse than the opioids.
Oh, really?
So look at what the opioid crisis is doing. Once enough of this artificial weed gets injected into the community, you're going to see New Jack City like you've never seen it before. The new crack is going to be the artificial weed sprayed with the cannabinoids. They legalized it so they could contaminate it and put it in your community. You gotta be, if you smoking weed, you better be growing it or you better be getting it from somebody who is growing it. You cannot import it, whether you have organic weed or the toxic synthetic weed. The reason I was against the legalization of marijuana, except to let blacks out of prison, I supported it for that. Oppressed people are always looking for distractions, not to pay attention to solving their problems. Marijuana is another distraction from revolution. You follow me?
That's true.
If we ain't drinking, if we ain't smoking, if we ain't Christ out at church, right? Now we high on weed all damn day long.
What do you do for fun, Dr. Umar?
Read, study, meditate, pray, organize.
And Kanye is very rarely seen with anybody except for Riccardo Tucci. The magazine alleges that Kim is worried about Kanye's close friendship with Givenchy designer Riccardo Tisci. That's Riccardo. Very handsome. Well, people are buzzing that, you know, the close friendship with Riccardo is one of the reasons that Kanye has spent like 95% of her pregnancy, Kim's pregnancy over in Paris. That's where Riccardo lives.
Okay. And this lady got juice, man.
Riccardo recently purchased an apartment a few blocks away from Kanye's here in New York in Soho. Allegedly, according to In Touch Weekly magazine. And Kim and North were at Chloe's with everybody else, and Kanye was in Paris, probably with his special friend. You know, the Tucci man from Givenchy. Riccardo Tucci. You know, that's his special friend, girl. I mean, you. Do you think Kanye and his special friend Riccardo Tucci were in the corner saying, yes, Hunty, yes, yes, Hunty. Chris and sweet Corey met
That means
in
Wendy has been
August
saying it for a
at
long time.
Riccardo Tisci's birthday party, or no,
Okay.
party at Riccardo Tisci's house. Now, you know, that's Kanye's special friend who designs for Givenchy. Uh-huh. By the way, if you like her sneakers, they're Nikes, but they're a special edition Riccardo Tucci, you know, Kanye's special friend. Yeah, for Givenchy. Yeah, that's him, for Givenchy. Look at North is pissed. What is she? The whole family's pissed. And put that back.
Yes,
Kanye,
staring,
look at
yes.
him like
I
that.
saw that too, yes. Yeah, right? Doesn't make sense, bro.
Anyway.
So I don't know.
The vampires of the world are the men who sleep with men but act like they like women.
Yeah, right?
It ain't really no blades out here with the teeth and everything. It's the men who sleep with men but act like they like women. Those are the vampires. Those are the ones we gotta be careful of because they act like bitches with their information. They come with misinformation on purpose so they can motherfucking have people thinking a certain way about you. I'm straightforward with my information. I joke about anything. And I don't mean no harm to nobody, but I'm not finna tiptoe around my life while I'm living because your feelings might get crushed quick. That's why I don't like saying names.
There is a school in the US that has introduced AI, and in 2 hours, some kids, are getting as much as 2 years ahead of where a normal American kid is at that time. 2 hours. Because after that, the rest of the time they spend on quote unquote life skills.
The worst evil people tend to be religious people. Because if they can't control you, they will quote the Bible and use that to control you. Religious people will weaponize the Bible to control you. Highly religious people will say things like, God told me. Well, great. He could tell me.
Right.
I prayed about it. Well, who did you talk to? Did you dial up the dark side of the force? Who answered? And sometimes what religious people will do, they will try and shove you into their religious system. And sometimes there are schools of thought or entire books that are written by religious, dysfunctional, evil people to create control in generations of family systems. They're like, you just need to read this book. Well, you know what? I got this other book. I think I'm going to keep reading that.
Hi there. Let me tell you a story, one that might just change the way you think about life, success, and what really matters. So, there's this businessman. Works crazy hours, always on the phone, always hustling. One day, he takes a vacation to this little coastal village. Beautiful place, ocean waves, palm trees, the whole deal. And as he's walking along the shore early in the morning, he sees this fisherman pulling his boat up onto the sand. The guy's got a small boat, a few big fish in it, and he looks content. Not rushing, not stressed, just finishing up his morning catch. The businessman, being who he is, walks over and says, "Hey there, that's some nice fish you've got. How long did it take you to catch them?" The fisherman smiles and says, "Oh, just a few hours. The fish are biting in the morning, so I go out, catch what I need, and then I come back." The businessman is surprised. "A few hours? Then what do you do with the rest of your day?" The fisherman leans back, looking at the ocean like it's an old friend, and says, "Well, I sleep in, fish a little in the morning, then I go home. In the afternoons, I take a nap with my wife, play with my kids, and in the evening, I walk into the village, have some wine with my friends, play guitar, laugh, and enjoy life." Now to the businessman, this sounds crazy. He can't wrap his head around it. He looks at the fisherman and says, "Listen, I'm a businessman. I know how to make money. Let me help you out. If you spend more time fishing, you can catch more fish, sell the extra fish, make more money, buy a bigger boat. With a bigger boat, you'll catch even more fish, make even more money, and soon you'll have a whole fleet of boats working for you." The fisherman nods, amused, and asks, "And then what?" The businessman's excited now. "Well, then you can start your own seafood company, sell to big markets, open a factory, expand globally, and become a millionaire." The fisherman raises an eyebrow. "And then?" The businessman grins. "Then you retire, move to a small coastal village, sleep in, fish a little in the morning, take naps with your wife, play with your kids, and spend your evenings drinking wine with your friends and playing guitar." The fisherman just smiles and says, "But I already do that now." And that, right there, is the lesson. See, so many people spend their whole lives chasing success, thinking that once they make enough money, then they'll finally be able to relax, to be happy, to enjoy life. But here's the thing. What if you're already living the life you're working so hard to get? What if the real secret isn't about making more? It's about knowing what enough looks like. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with ambition, with wanting to build something great, with putting in the work to create a better future. But if your whole life is spent running toward one day and never appreciating today, what's the point? The fisherman understood something that the businessman didn't. He didn't need to chase some distant dream of success, because he was already living a life full of meaning, love, and joy. So ask yourself, what are you really working for? More money, more stuff? Or is it peace, happiness, time with the people you love? And if that's what you're after, maybe, just maybe, you don't have to wait until retirement to start living it. All right, go out there and make today yours.
Pursue excellence, not women. Pursue excellence. And all good things will come to you and you'll be able to, and I'm not talking woo-woo shit here. This is not law of attraction bullshit. This is practical stoicism. This is practical living, wealth building, practical health. Pursue excellence and your life will be better. Period. Chase women? It wears you the hell out, dude. Wears you the hell out.
Men can get pregnant?
Yes, some men can get pregnant.
What's going on?
Did you just say that a man can get pregnant?
Of course they can.
How?
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
This is truly fascinating, and I had no idea.
Professor, I'm assuming you're qualified to be here.
Yes, I have a degree, Senator, sir.
I'm not convinced, Professor. Can I get myself pregnant?
Ask Dr. Pushard.
Excuse me, Dr. Pushard. A man can get pregnant?
They certainly can.
Oh, really?
Are you sure?
I'm the expert here.
Okay.
You think it's wrong, Senator?
How exactly does a man get pregnant?
Is that a serious question?
Yes.
I've never seen a pregnant man.
I'm not sure what you mean.
I'm confused.
Obviously, Senator.
What hole does the baby come out?
It's called rectally birthing.
We're talking about butt babies, right?
Oh, this was crazy. This was so crazy. Crazy. How is that possible? Damn. Crazy. If you come to the end of the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share with your friends. And also click on the notification bell icon so that any content that I post, you will be the first to get it. And comment the videos that intrigued you the most. Adios amigos, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.